Now, breaking down the chapter in greater detail, the first thing I want to focus on is Jura's new goal of devouring Himawari. Why has Jura changed his plans? The answer is simply because he's curious. What Jura desires is answers to his questions about the world. As a being originating from the Tentails, Jura's natural instinct is to devour things, so it's understandable why he feels as though he'll get his answers by devouring his targets. Initially, Jura's primary question was as simple as, why do I want to devour Naruto? Where Jura believed he would find the answer to his question by devouring Naruto. Now, in order to find Naruto, Jura followed the trail of Kurama's chakra that he could sense as an incarnation of a fellow Biju. However, by Jura's surprise, that trail led him to Himawari, and Jura wants to know why. Why does Himawari have Kurama's chakra? By devouring Himawari, Jura might get the answer to that question, and it theoretically might assist him in his search for Naruto as well. Jura's target is not Kurama, or at least he doesn't think that's his target anyway. He was merely using Kurama as a way to find his target of Naruto, but now he has a new question he wants answered, which made him change his immediate target to Himawari instead. But his goal isn't to acquire Tail Beast chakra or anything like that. If that was the case, he would be interested in the other Tail Beasts as well, and someone like Killer Bee probably would have been pretty high on his list of targets. Not only that, but that also feels too similar to the idea of devouring an Otsutsuki for the sake of acquiring that special chakra. And at that point I feel like Jura would just go ahead and eat Boruto or Kawaki like he eventually plans to do. So all in all, I think it's made pretty clear that Jura is more so interested in his intellectual curiosity at the moment than he is in acquiring power or becoming a normal divine tree. He literally said as much in chapter 4 when he was first awakened. Now the next thing I want to focus on is the fact that Kashin Koji and Boruto are in one of Orochimaru's hideouts. Now we don't know whether this is the same hideout Orochimaru was in during Naruto Gaiden or if it's a different one, and we don't know whether Orochimaru is still at this hideout or if it's been abandoned, but we can clearly tell that this is one of Orochimaru's hideouts based on its design. It has the exact same pattern on the wall and snakes with orbs in their mouths as Orochimaru's hideout in Naruto Gaiden, and this is huge. It means that Orochimaru has a very reasonable likelihood of finally making his appearance in the Boruto manga, and not just appearing, but actually being essential to the plot in the story. Between his creation of Mitsuki and Log, his research on the Otsutsuki and the world in general, having Boruto as a test subject, and his past relationship with Jiraiya that's being rekindled with Kashin Koji, Orochimaru has a lot to offer, and pairing that with Kashin Koji, who worked closely with Yamato in the past to take down Jigen, we have the perfect avenue to reveal more information about the Karma Seal, the Otsutsuki, the Byakugo Seal, the Curse Mark, and to expose any lies Yamato may have told, and I'm almost more hyped for that than anything else. I have very high hopes for what Orochimaru and Kashin Koji can provide to the plot and the story, and I think all of this plays nicely into the reveal we get in the next scene with Boruto and Kawaki, which Baara will be diving into further.
Alright, now the Boruto scene basically starts with him in a cave that looks a lot like Orochimaru's hideout. It basically stems from the multiple snakes in the frame and also these diamond looking patterns on the back wall. And of course, Boruto is not there by himself. He is also there with Kashin Koji, a character that we've been wanting to see since chapter 1 of TBV when he was originally reintroduced into the series. But right before we did get to see him with Kashin Koji, we did get to see Boruto essentially holding his arm, and we did see a close-up of Boruto's Karma Seal. Now this right here could definitely be some foreshadowing for what we do get to see a little bit later on in the chapter. However, this right here could also be foreshadowing for another bigger thing. One of the things that we haven't necessarily seen yet in TBV was Momoshiki. Whenever I think about Boruto's Karma Seal, I'm going to inevitably think about Momoshiki as well. But after the Karma Seal made his brief cameo on Orochimaru's hideout, Kashin Koji brings Boruto's attention to the people that are actually on the move. Now, I'm guessing this right here is going to be the Shinju. Now, one of the things that we do get to see in the next panel is the Shinju's tracks. We did actually get to see Jura fight against some of the Jonin and essentially turn them into shish kebabs, unfortunately. And that right there is exactly what Kashin Koji is told is actually seeing, and he is relaying that information back to Kashin Koji. Right before we get to see Boruto's return back to the Hidden Leaf Village, we do get a brief cameo from Kawaki, and I know Mel's gonna make fun of me for this, but my guy is actually still on the floor, still sleeping. He's basically being waken up by Delta. They're basically talking about what just happened and why Kawaki is basically being so reckless. He essentially says that he's almost fully healed, and then Boruto pulls up to the Hidden Leaf Village. Now, directly after Boruto pulls up to the Hidden Leaf Village, Kawaki completely disregards his original mission, which was to find out what was going on with the Shinju, and he made a beeline directly to Boruto. Another thing that's about to come up as well, Shikamaru was also contacted, which kind of means that he wasn't necessarily completely brainwashed by the omnipotence, at least as of yet, and he still does have a great recollection of the last phone call that Boruto and him actually did have. Shikamaru also gives Boruto the whole entire rundown how there were 2 Shinju that were actually coming into the Hidden Leaf Village, and their original target was Naruto, and now it's Himawari. Now, seeing how Boruto kind of reacts to it, it doesn't necessarily give us a lot of insight into exactly what he's thinking. Another thing that got Boruto's attention was Shikamaru essentially telling that Ninetails chakra is actually involved. Another tiny little nugget, we also get to see Kashin Koji's reaction to this information. So Kashin Koji is likely going to be involved in that as well, simply just off of his reaction being included right here. Everything that they put in the manga, it's there for a reason. Now, at this particular point, Boruto and Kawaki, they have their regular conversation. Kawaki is essentially asking Boruto, what is he doing in Hidden Leaf Village? Boruto's essentially saying, hey, I'm here to help. A bunch of other stuff that we understand that Kawaki is not necessarily going to be receptive to, let's be honest. Right when Boruto does ask Kawaki to help him out, to actually go catch the rest of the Shinju, Kawaki absolutely tries to attack Boruto. In this fight right here, it went how a lot of you guys thought it would probably go. Kawaki got absolutely washed. Boruto, one of the characters, I said this for a very long time, would make the strongest of the strongest characters look absolutely fodder. He did it to Code, he did it to Meek, and now he's doing it to base Kawaki. But however, this battle in itself was a little bit more interesting, mainly because it did 2 separate things. I think it kind of did crystallize a potential gap between Kawaki and Boruto, not only for the audience, but specifically for Kawaki as well. I think that right there is going to pay a lot of dividends in the future, but also it kind of did show Kawaki that Boruto doesn't really have all control of his karma still, because later on in that battle, after Boruto completely obliterated Kawaki, let's be honest, and right when Kawaki tries to get serious and activates his karma still, he realizes that his karma still is actually resonating with Boruto's karma still, and Boruto's karma seal is now starting to activate. Boruto realizes that and he flies off. Now, just specifically from Kawaki's perspective, Boruto flew off. He didn't really know exactly why he flew off, but you could tell after that he pretty much had the idea that, hey, he can't really control his karma seal. Now, thanks to us, because we are reading in the manga form, we are getting a bit more information. Boruto essentially talks to the Toad, and the Toad says, Boruto, you need to leave now. Put distance between you or you're going to lose control. This right here essentially crystallizes a few things that we've been questioning since TBV started. First things first, where is Momoshiki? It seems that Momoshiki is still going to be a very, very present threat. Not only that, we also find out why Boruto hasn't necessarily been using his karma seal so far. If you guys don't necessarily recall, the last time that we did kind of see something like this, where Boruto did actually activate his karma seal and Momoshiki did kind of take over, was right before part 1 did actually end. I believe it was in either chapter 79 or chapter 80. This was essentially when Kawaki and Boruto, they're essentially having their scuffle, and then right at the very end, Kawaki was essentially captured, and then Momoshiki essentially freed Kawaki right then and there. And that was when we found out that Momoshiki can actually still take over Boruto's body. Even though we kind of knew it, it was never really flat out stated. But that's essentially what happened in this particular chapter between Boruto, Kawaki, and Momoshiki. Well, technically Boruto, Kawaki, and Karma Seal.
As Team 10 continues to fight Jiraiya and Hidari, Shikadai does put Jiraiya under a shadow paralysis jutsu, where instead of Jiraiya giving up, he decides to shoot an entire Bijou bomb back. Luckily, Chocho does step in by punching Jiraiya away, pushing away the trajectory of the Bijou bomb, and we immediately see the impact of just how powerful these Tentail enemies are. I mean, when these characters first were introduced, they easily dismantled Boruto, and while Boruto was able to escape alive, their power levels were so much greater compared to someone like Boruto and Code, for example. So coming to a battle like this, it wasn't really expected for Team 10 to do anything. However, when it comes to their teamwork, they were able to survive thanks to somebody like Chocho, as the explosion literally blows everybody away, despite it missing Shikadai off the mark. Inojin then picks up the rest of Team 10 as they begin to fly away, where Hidari warns Jiraiya that Himawari is getting away. However, since it's their target, Jiraiya is confused on what's actually driving them past their own survival instincts. As we know, when it comes to these characters, in terms of power levels, they don't really stand a chance against these Tentail enemies. So it really confuses Jiraiya, who's still learning about the world, and as he's getting more information, he is learning about something that is actually driving past their survival instincts, which could be crucial information for the Tentails as they begin to learn more about the world. And as Team 10 continues to fly away from the village, Himawari suggests that she should escape on her own. Team 10 then objects, saying that that won't happen happened since they want to protect her. However, before Himawari could really reply back, she realizes that her consciousness is in a completely different place compared to where she's at currently. This catches Himawari off guard, realizing that there is someone behind her telling her that they can't believe that the Tentails will be able to sniff out the Ninetails. And this is where we get to the last page of the chapter, where it is revealed that there is a baby Ninetails inside of Himawari, asking her if he recognizes who exactly it is. Who Himawari does recognize that it is the Ninetails. Now this is a massive revelation when it comes to Himawari's character. As we've seen at the end of Boruto Part 1, Damon was kind of scared of her power. He was able to sense her right away, and when he met her for the first time, he was actually confused on why she was not able to essentially fight back when Damon tried to attack her initially. And this Ninetails is why someone like Damon, who is one of the most powerful characters in the series, was kind of afraid of Himawari's power. Despite Himawari being viewed as someone not being that powerful, of course she's always had potential. However, with the Ninetails being introduced, whether it's a baby Kurama or a reincarnation of the Ninetails, this sets up so many storylines for Himawari, especially for her power, because let's be real here, when it comes to a lot of characters in this series, the only way to continue to stay relevant is to be at a very high power level or to be able to manipulate the story, such as a character like Ada or Amato, for example. So for Himawari's case, I think this sets up so much more for her character, especially since she's really on Boruto's side when it comes down to all of this, as well as if she really needs to fight, maybe she could really tap into that Ninetails chakra mode, or even better, potentially Baryon mode, if that information does get passed down. So let us know what you guys think about this chapter in the comment section below. How hyped are you for Himawari being revealed that she is the Ninetails Jinchuriki? And let us know, what are your predictions for Boruto 2 Blue Vortex chapter 10 in the comment section below. What would you rate this chapter, and how are you feeling about Boruto 2 Blue Vortex? Let us know about all of that in the comment section below. So if you like this video, hit that like button, subscribe, hit the bell as well, and have a good day. Peace.